Hi guys, today's video is a special treat because we will be going over how to implement good technique into your practice. This is a collaboration with my good friend Craig from Practical Piano Technique. Craig will be going over the importance of having good technique even in the beginning of your piano playing, and we'll go over those 4 critical steps, and I will apply those steps to music and to your practice. Definitely make sure to check out Practical Piano Technique's video right after you watch this one. So the first step to having good technique is alleviating all the tension and making sure that nothing is stiff. So let's go into some exercises to help you with this. When you are playing with your arms, they should be completely free. First relaxation exercise is just to let your arm drop into your lap like this. Make sure there's no tension, and really it's so free it can drop. Second relaxation exercise will be to try to drop your arm into a note. Make sure your fingertips are firm, not stiff, but firm, so that when you drop, you're going to drop into a note. So you see how it just drops right into that key. Second, correct sitting position is very important, but how do you actually accomplish it? We're going to put the shoulders back and then make sure your chair is back enough where you're not sitting too close. You're going to need to really check your sitting position before you play each time until it's going to feel completely natural for you to sit in this way. And even then, when you get to a new piano, check your sitting position. When you sit down, just double check that everything feels just right. So shoulders back, and then you can stretch your arms out like this so that your fists reach the piano keys right there. And then you can drop your hands here. Your arms will be parallel to the floor. You can check that. And then hands will be nice and round. This is actually the relaxed form of the hand, or if you put it on your kneecap, that's another way to remind yourself of this hand position. So just like that. And then check your fingertips as well as you're playing to make sure that they're not collapsing in like that, so that your fingertips are not collapsing in like that, but firmly press the keys like this. So when you are playing your scales, try to make sure that you are using the right hand position and just sitting up straight. As you play, especially if it's something memorized, watch your hands to make sure that you have the correct position, especially in the beginning when you're not used to it. Number 3, alignment of the hand, wrist, and arm. This is another very important one. Now, how do you actually practically do that? In order to demonstrate this, I will be playing By the Seaside by Streebog and helping you go through this piece and see what you can do in order to keep the alignment of your hands and wrists. Now in this piece, most of it is close to the middle. The left hand moves slightly into this register, so I'm going to be leaning just slightly, very slightly to the right side. I would have to lean more to the right side in order to make sure that my arm is aligned here and my arm is aligned here. And if I had to play lower, I would just have to lean to my left side. Now let's go on to number 4, using arm weight and gestures, and instead of using only the fingers. I'm also going to use By the Seaside in order to demonstrate this one. So when you are playing, you need to make sure that you're not thinking of just playing with each finger, for example, like this. Now with that, I'm making each finger move and press a note. But instead, you want to feel the whole measure as a gesture and use the arm weight more to press the keys than each separate finger going down. When I press a note, now this is easier to understand when I am dropping just into one note. When I'm dropping in, you see, this is not my finger moving and pressing that key. I'm dropping into that key with my arm weight, okay? But even as I'm playing legato, I'm really using that arm weight and using my body weight. So I have like little circles that are happening throughout this piece with each measure. And my body will sway just a little bit as well, really carrying that arm weight, carrying that body weight behind the notes so that your fingers are not doing all that work. You see that circle that I'm doing right there? And that also gives the music a flow. So it makes it more beautiful, but it's also the correct technique that will help you to not get into injury as well. Now, in order to make this happen, you really have to combine all those previous techniques together. You need to make sure you're playing without tension, because with tension, that's not going to happen. You need to make sure you're in the correct sitting position and have the correct hand position as you're playing, because again, you're not going to get that flow of the hand when you are playing with the incorrect position. And you need to make sure that your wrists and arms are aligned. But then at this point, you also want to have a very free and flexible wrist. And this goes hand in hand with not having tension. You're going to let your fingers, but not just your fingers, you're going to let your hands really dance on the keys with these beautiful gestures, with these circular motions that will just blend from one to the next. And listen for that full measure as a phrase that will help you to create just that one gesture instead of listening for every single note separate. And so that is one gesture. It kind of is two gestures because you have one hand following the other, but it really becomes one measure and almost like one gesture right there. Let's go to another piece real quick so I can demonstrate the arm weight in large forte chords. So this is going to be the end of A Pleasant Morning, just the last two measures. And in this piece, I'm going to really just drop my hands into those last chords. And when I play this way with my arm weight and not with my fingers, I have less tension and I can get that nice forte. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to implement good technique into your practice, specifically the 4 steps to better your technique. Don't forget to check out Practical Piano Techniques video as well. I will link it down below. And let me know if you found this helpful and if you would like any more videos like this. See you next time.